Okay, welcome back. This is our series about rewriting your law firm life. And this is where you get the opportunity to basically write a book about what you're struggling with in your law firm right now today. If you joined us for the last video, we talked about the end of your book, the resolution, your goal, your vision for your law firm. And this is a great place to start. I think for many people, it is the place that gives us energy to continue to move forward. And if you struggled with a little bit, really articulating your vision or seeing it clearly, or if you're in one of those places where you are just feeling like, I have no idea what I want, but I know it's not this. I know that having my firm be in chaos right now, just like it is not what I want. Then this is your opportunity to really dig in to where you are now. And sometimes that will give you clarity on where you want to go. So I want to talk about this. This whole series was inspired by an experience I had when I was traveling in 2019. I was traveling through Southeast Asia and I was continuing my practice as a IP attorney. I had associates in the States and I was working from abroad and moving around, seeing all kinds of amazing things. And at the time, I was on this tiny island in Thailand and working in this co-working space, exploring the island, doing all these things. And I was just so happy. Like I was just enjoying things so much. And part of why I was enjoying things so much is I was not only working, but I was working sort of minimally because this was also kind of a holiday. But I was also really learning about writing. I had always wanted to write a book. I mean, I think a lot of lawyers, we would like to write a book. We feel like we have it in us. And so I was looking around and I found Eve Deverell or E.A. Deverell on YouTube. And I found this particular video called the One Page Plot Your Novel. And so I gave myself that time on this island in Thailand. And I said, okay, I'm calling this the One Page Plots Project. I am just going to see if I can plot out these novels. And the interesting way that she had was not only was her story structure, but she had done it in a way so that you could plot your entire novel on one little page, fold it up, and it was like a little book. And I loved it. I had so much fun. I plotted so many books, I can't even tell you. And then I realized that I not only had been lawyering, I had not only been doing this plot project just for fun as a hobby, but I started to use it with my coaching clients. At the time, I was doing a certification training with coactive coaching, and I was working with people. Some of them were lawyers and some were not. And I was working with them, and most people, they can see what they want and they can see what's stopping them, and they just have difficulty getting over it. And for some people, they had something that they thought was stopping them, but they couldn't really see it clearly. Like they couldn't abstract themselves enough from the situation to have any perspective. And so I started to use this One Page Plots project with them, plotting the story of here's where I am right now in my situation. And that's where I want to be. That's my dream. That's my goal, and thinking of it like a book. Here's the beginning of the story, and things are rough, and I'm working and I'm doing all the things that I can, and I'm just at the edge of burnout, but I'm holding it together. And then there's the end of the story where I love what I'm doing. I'm so happy. I go to work with a smile on my face. My team around me is so content. We're working together. We're collaborative. And so being able to see those pieces was so powerful. And then we started to plot through, just like a book, What are the obstacles to your goal? What are the things that you need that will help you get from here to there? What are the things that will kill you in the end when you stick to the same old pattern, when you choose not to step up? And what it would look like if you did step up, if you did make the change and you changed the person you needed to become that person in the end who has that kind of life. And it was so powerful. Like, I can't even tell you how many people had their little books and they could see their story and they could see how they could be the hero or the heroine of their own journey. And this stuck with me all these years. And even though I had stopped doing this process, it's still something that I use personally, that when I'm really struggling with something and I can't seem to get through it, I plot my own little novel and tell my own story. And this really gives me that perspective, because it truthfully is the fact that our brains lie to us, right? Our brains are trained to keep us safe. They're trained to keep us where we are now. And honestly, I think as lawyers too, we have this tendency to go for the safer paths. And that's because we're naturally a cautious profession. And so this bleeds out into other areas of our lives. And so even though we love to research and we love to plan and we're very strategic, those things don't always work in our favor. And so this, I think, is a great process for finding a way to use our powers for good. And so use what we know and what abilities we have to reach the end. And the other reason I really, really love this project is there is no one way to be a hero. There is no one way to end. There is no one way for you to get the law firm of your dreams. And in fact, very few of us have a law firm of our dreams that match. It is so specific and individualized to you and to what you want and what you need and what your life needs. So that I think that it's really important as much as possible to be able to see that end goal in mind. What happens in the end? The thing that really lights you up, that also fits your life, but also to be able to take it back and see where you are now. And the more clearly you can see where you are now, the more clearly you can see how you can get from here to there. And I want you still to wait on thinking about how you're going to accomplish this. I want you to just take a moment and really think about where you are now. And this is a place where I invite you to pause the video and get out your journal and actually physically write on paper what this is. And if not, maybe dictate. Because I think if you use speech to text, it can work, because some people really need to process verbally. But I also think that the handwriting can be really important, and I encourage you to put that into your process if at all possible, and not skip straight to typing, because our brain to fingers typing into the computer is the brain we use for our work. It's the brain we use for our clients. And it is not always our best creative brain. It is not always our best sideways thinking. The new mind that will get us to the new place. In fact, it is the tendency to do the things that have always been done. It's such an ingrained process. And so if at all possible, go to a new space, go take a pen and a notebook to a cafe, take, the good old legal pad and go and sit in a conference room and just spend 10 minutes describing where you are now. And some people like to do it in the first person. I am da da da. And some people, I'm one of them, I like to do it in the third. And I say, you know, Moira is sitting there and she's frustrated and na na na, so that I can read it more like a story rather than seeing it as me. This is a really good place to think about what is around you and what are you doing and how you feel about these things. In the first video, we talked about how you may want to include sensory detail. What do you hear? What do you smell? What do you know, what foods are you eating? And then also to use the AEIOU framework that was described in the book Designing Your Life, which I love, which is what activities are going on around you. Are they structured or unstructured? What is your role in these activities? And then E would be your environment. So what's going on around you? Is it a formal or informal environment? How does it feel? Like, how does it feel physically, but also how does it feel emotionally? Like, how much do you enjoy walking into your office and sitting down in front of your computer or not? What exactly is going on? What are you feeling then? What do you feel when you open up your timekeeping program? What do you feel when the bills go out? You know, these are specific experiences that you can write down right now, describing about where you are. The I of AEIOU is your interactions. Like, who do you interact with most during the day? Are you talking to opposing counsel? Are you talking to your associates? Are you interacting mostly with your computer, or are you doing lots of research? Then your O is objects. So what things are supporting you? Do you actually have a desk? Are you working from a desk? Are you working from a table? Are you using an iPad as a second screen for your computer? Do you have an ergonomic mouse? Like, what are the objects you're interacting with? And then the U is the users. Like, who else is in your environment? How have these other people made it more positive or negative for you? How do they change the experience? And this is something where if you can describe as much as possible where you are now compared to where you want to be, and this is something we'll look at the next video, it's really identifying the distinct distance between now and what I want. This may be difficult. It may be a little emotional, especially if you are anywhere near burnout, if you are struggling with how things have been for a particularly long time, and if you are beginning to feel a little hopeless about how your law firm works and what you'd like to change about it and how it never seems to change. And there's something really powerful about getting it on paper and seeing it on paper as something separate to yourself. And so even if you're dictating, you're using your phone, all our phones have an app, it's speech to text. Get that, have it printed out so you can actually read it so that it feels much more separate from you, so that you can begin to see this with perspective. And from a coaching and story perspective, I think it is okay for you to turn up the volume a little bit. And I'm going to talk about this more later because for me, I usually have to do a couple drafts so that I really feel like I'm describing where I am now, because it's kind of painful when you're describing where you are now. And so I like to make myself as pitiful and, wrong and just messed up as possible, because then I get to see this really powerful journey. It also kind of makes me laugh, so it makes it a little easier to write. But however you need to do for yourself, just describe yourself with as much honesty as possible. What's going on with you? What's going on with your firm? What's going on around you? So that you can begin to work to find out how you can get from here to that vision you have for your firm, the thing you want most, that lifestyle law firm or that law firm exit that you've been looking for. So I'm Moira. I am a former IP attorney turned legal practice consultant, and I will be doing this series. We'll go all the way through. You will write an entire story, and then we'll talk about some tweaks you can do. For example, you can do this with your client journey through your law firm and that sort of stuff, or you as a mentor. I use this process a lot. I love it. It really works for me, and I think it might work for you. So if you're curious and want some help working through this, or if you want to go deeper, you can click the link below and schedule a free consultation with me, absolutely. And I'd be happy to talk to you about what's possible for you and talk about how you can get from here to there. All right, thank you. Happy lawyering. Bye-bye.